Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again this evening. Thank you so very much for stopping on this post. Today I heard Nikki Haley saying she wanted to introduce her campaign for President of the United States in 2024. And I'm asking myself, what big ball of power does she want? What does she have to offer this nation? What does she have to offer this nation? And I was got that hard on my mind because I've been thinking about that situation, all the pain and suffering that people go through, and I was thinking about white people and how you have to try to be careful with people when you talk about them, when you call them out and stuff like that. You have to do it with kid gloves because they want to get all upset with you. You might not even be able to be civil with them again. But the truth is, I was thinking about white people, and I was thinking about how does white people think they can run the world. Really, I was thinking about how they figure they can run America. Now, this was before I heard Miss Haley. I was just thinking, here white people are, ran natives off their land, slaughtered them, did anything, didn't make any difference. Brought black people and took them slaves, used Chinese as slaves, abused anybody they wanted. And today, still, people of color, second-class citizens. And Miss Haley says she represents people of color. I guess that says she's entitled to be president because she's a person of color. I don't want anybody interested in color. When it comes down to white people, we just know that they got a reputation of evil all over the place. And then, now I'm not talking about all white people, because I want you to know some of the nicest people in the world are white people. The problem of it is they just like the nicest people in the black community. When slavery was around, they allowed it to happen. Now, there were white people engaged in putting it down, but at the same time, there were those that weren't. And today, while we're second-class citizens, there are still people, white people, who love us, but we're still second-class citizens. And nobody's fixing that. So, I think about white people standing up before the American people saying, I want to be president of the United States, whether it's Donald Trump or whether it's Joe Biden or Miss Haley, anybody. I want to be president of the United States. What do you have to offer me? What do you have to? I represent the sick. I represent old people who got diseases, who can't go to the hospital. I represent people who are poor, whatever you want to call it. What do you have to offer them? I mean, seriously, what do you have to offer them that Biden don't have to offer them, Trump didn't have to offer them, and nobody had to offer them? I said that America is experiencing rough times, and still, people will stand up and say, "Give me your support." I hear that some politicians or people who want to be in the political arena wants to criminalize homelessness. Homelessness, isn't that something? You talk about capitalism. Capitalism talks about advancing success, pathway to success. Some might want to call it. Others might want to call socialism a pathway to life. But I want to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't usually watch television when it comes down to rich people in America, rich black people in America, because they make me just as sick as white people, rich white people. I'm not excited because you rich, because I know the secret. I know what happened. The system was set up to rob people. From kings and queens, they all set it up. They want to play God, and they think all the people are stupid enough to accept it because somebody stand up and say, "I'm representing God. God told me." And people say, "Okay, what God tell you? Uh, I'm God's representative on earth. I own everything." All of that stuff, ladies and gentlemen, been hand me down since the times started. But I want you to know there is a God, and you can believe it. You don't have to. But this earth was designed, my friends, so that you can live as though you were in heaven on earth. One other thing before I went out tonight, I heard a debate between Dr. Wolf, Dr. Wolf. He's an economist, Marxist economist, and he's debating Dr. Brooks, Dr. Arthur Brooks. And this debate was about capitalism versus socialism. And I'm telling you, it was one heck of a debate. I enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed listening to this man justifying capitalism. I enjoyed listening to this man justifying socialism. And what I saw, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Capitalism is on the way out because it has failed too many people. It's in America. I'm not even talking about around the world. I'm just talking about in America. And right now it's gotten to the point that most of all of the wealth goes to the 1%, to the smallest people, the smallest group of people. And all the hustling and the bustling, and people got to work 2 jobs to try to keep up with the cost. People got to keep their kids at home and try to get them to work a job and bring some of the money back home just so we can live. When there was a time people were living with one person working. But that's when people were getting raises, increases. They had salaries and stuff that was increasing. But nowadays, nobody get any increase beyond. You think about people arguing last year about a $15 increase in wages. And that wouldn't even be enough to justify the increases that they've got in costs for this year. That $15 wouldn't do nothing. And I'm saying to the people, ladies and gentlemen, this is simple stuff. This is simple. I'm telling you, the systems of the world that were not designed by God. They were designed by men or women who decided that they were going to be the boss. They were smarter than all of the rest of the people because they had enough guts to stand up and say what they were going to do. And they came up with these plans to put them in power and to use the people, all of us as people, workers, or whatever. You are being used. Now, when I say they're being used, because they got the resources. They got the benefits. You working your tail off and can't get your car fixed. You working, well, I'm not going to go back through all that kind of stuff because that's just the system. And let me ask you something. Everybody say we got to make money. Let me ask you, what do you do with money? You buy food, you buy clothing, you buy what else? Housing. You have education if you can afford it, healthcare if you can afford it, transportation if you can afford it, whether it's your automobiles or taking buses and trains and planes, going different places, having vacations. All these things is what you do. These are things that you do when you got money. That's what money is used for. But few people got enough money to do anything they want to do. Other people can do that too. Other people can do that. But then you get to a point where 50% of the rest of the population, out of everybody doing everything, now let's give it a number so you can kind of get some idea what I'm talking about. Let's say you got 150 million people can do what they want to do. Now, you don't have that many. But let me just say, you got 150 million can do what they want to do. If that's the case, you got 150 million can do what they can. And out of them, some of them can't do nothing. Now, you can, if there's a God did not create the earth to be like that because he made it. It was made so it could be where you can live in heaven. But at the same time, you were given choice. So if you don't want to live like you're in heaven, you don't have to. You can stand up, and if you can convince people that you God and that you got the plan, and they dumb and stupid enough to listen to you, then they get what God said they deserve because they rejected God. Now, if they did not reject God, they would stand up even though you reject God and tell you to go to hell. And they are not going to accept the system that the Democrats are talking about. They're not going to accept the system that Republicans are talking about. They got us thinking that these two people up there, Republican and Democrat, debating and they are playing a part. They are part of the system that's screwing all of us. We don't know it. When you see the State of the Union, all those people up there in that state, listen to that, the union, they are all supposedly representing us. They're not representing any of us. They're representing who putting money in their pocket. Only thing they're representing us is enough to get the vote. to get them back in office. And you and I, we're all going along with it. So I say, look, let me just show you how simple God made it. God ain't all these law books and all of that. Capitalism, this, and you should listen. Now, you can imagine what they're trying to justify capitalism. You can imagine. But let me tell you just how simple it is. All of the resources necessary to do all the things that human beings will ever want to do on this earth from the beginning of time to the end of time, whether it's in the earth, on the earth, or above the earth, whether it's seen or unseen, is already here. Individuals are among all the living things that would benefit from that. Individuals, human beings, do too. And each individual would benefit from the resources of the earth by just being here. If they're surviving, just being here. Every last one of us. But you know what? We were set up that each and every last one of us special. We're unique. And each of us, what makes us unique? We got a gift. We came here with something. We came here with purpose. We came here with the ability to do something. And what we, in a society that is about preciousness, is set up in such a way that each of us can determine what it is that we can do, or that we've been given to do, that gives us our greatest joy, and engage ourselves in that particular career objective in the process of creating all of the stuff that we say we need, want, or desire, and do it in such an abundance that there will be enough for any and everybody. And we always engaged in what we're doing because we love it. We're always creating and bringing back, and and you don't have to worry about money. Why? Because we own the stuff. Human beings own everything. So when they need it, they access it. Just like going to your refrigerator when you're hungry, or going to the store when you need something, or going to the dealership when you need a car. You still do these things. Going to call up the people to come fix your house. Do these, that's still done it, but it doesn't cost you any money. Why? Because you're a part of owner of everything. And when you call somebody to do stuff, they've been waiting on your call. Why? Because the only people doing it are people who've chosen to do it because they love doing it. And it's special to them. So they're getting joy out of the work, and they're getting the benefits of food. Anything that money can buy and extra, you're getting it now free because you're a part owners of the earth and the stuff that's made by human beings. And it's yours. You don't need money. You don't need nothing that money's about. You don't need no king, no queen, none of that stuff. Now you're going to have order. There's going to be structure. But there's no be no boss, no God over you. You are your own God. And you make agreement with one another that you're going to do the kinds of things that will produce the things that we're trying to set out to do. You're not out here competing with this John, competing with that, because when you start competing, otherwise somebody's going to start busting you side the head. That's what happens to that stuff. But when you work together, you become Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl champs. You become human being champs. So I'm talking about a new kind of doing things, ladies and gentlemen. That's my business. Rather than listen to the Republicans try to destroy stuff with their lying, deceitful stuff, rather than the Democrats trying to kid you like they're trying to do something by being a little bit more comfortable than the Republicans. All that stuff is a bunch of hogwash. You still can't pay your bill. You still suffering. You still can't deal with this kind of stuff. And if you can't deal with it, it ain't worth a damn what they're doing. And it's going to stay that way unless you do something. And if you don't do anything, you don't deserve a damn thing. Now, that's just the truth. I'll talk to you later.